Hey everyone, we've had a really good question in about potential. Actually, two. One person saying, how do I know I'm fulfilling my potential? And another question in that says, in this body mind, there is a constant underlying feeling of not living my full potential. With getting older rapidly, questions about achievements getting louder. Are there any? And what's actually holding me back from being an artist? There is a longing and a fear in equal measures. What's holding me back? Potential is such a loaded word, isn't it? And I think we can really make it simple by seeing or exploring how this is fulfilling our full potential right now. That everything that's been learned, everything that's been assimilated, everything that's been thought of, every experience, every course that's ever undertaken, everything, every person we've ever met has brought us to this moment, exactly this right now. It cannot be any other way. So to sit here right now and to think it should be different, I haven't fulfilled my potential, I should have done XYZ by now. Impossible. Literally impossible. There is no other possibility. It's everything has led to this now. And of course then the mind kicks in and with its sort of dissatisfaction and, well, great, so this is just my destiny, is it? This is just what I'm always going to be, and then I'll be this next other thing which won't be satisfactory, and I won't ever flourish. And but if we get really still with this, what we can see is that everything has led to this point. Okay, so there wasn't any other choice. It's like a program. It's literally a program has been put in place. Things have come in from outside. There's been reactions that couldn't have been any other way at any stage to lead us to this right now, on this chair or on that sofa, wherever you are, in with these walls, wearing these clothes. It's mad, isn't it? But it's true. It's that this is a program set up, originating who knows how far in the past, but it's led us to this right now. And what we can see is that the program creates the next thing. So what will be possible in the next 5 minutes depends on the program. Okay, so it's the program is calling the shots. There's no self calling the shots. There's a learned setup that dictates the next event, the next response, the next word, the next piece of writing, the next argument. It's set up. But what's really fascinating is that the program is like software. The hardware is the understanding from which the program makes sense. And the understanding, or the hardware, is the fundamental the fundamental understanding of what the self is, of what reality is. Because that hardware, that infrastructure of the sort of the deepest back we can go, what is true, what's reality, what am I, that's as far back really as it's possible to get. That infrastructure is the basis from which all beliefs are judged, all thoughts are either valid or inconsequential, all worries are occupying front of stage, or they're not even noticed. And this is what's so fascinating, and why this conversation is about infinite potential ultimately, while not, there's no burden on the self to do that. The self is a product of that conditioning. The way I appear to myself is only that way because of what has been learned, what's been believed, what's been internalized and identified with. But as that hardware, that infrastructure of foundational understanding starts changing, and it changes from this is real, how I think I am is how I am, there is an objective reality out there, I'm a separate individual, me, Claire, I'm in charge of all my movements, all my words, all my actions, or I should be in charge of my emotions, I should be in charge of my thoughts, it's all mine, I'm somehow controlling it all, and you should be controlling all of your stuff, and how you appear to me has got nothing to do with perception, that's just how you are. So that's one extreme of separation, the extreme belief in an objective self and an objective separate reality. And according to that, whatever conditioning is throwing up in the mind will be believed, because that's true. Whatever I think of you is how you are. Whatever I think of me is how I am. There's no question in it. There's no space. And so the software coming from that hardware of total belief in an objective separate self, with all the suffering that brings, that software will just play out. And so, so the destiny, the potential is just what's being learned, what's in there. Okay? But as that hardware shifts through this conversation, through the realization that actually there cannot be any objective reality, and that there is no self, no separate self that is running this show, that it's all just happening, then against that hardware, against that infrastructure, the program starts to change, because those old beliefs, those old things that I've acquired about myself, I'm shy, I'm not capable, I'm not strong, I'm not sociable, I'm not good at speaking in public, you'll have your own, but those were mine for a long, long time. They sort of lost their grip, really. Where did they even come from? Why would they be believed and not other stuff? And what even is a belief, and who's doing the believing? And so all these things start to create space. And so this conditioned program starts to not be the thing so much anymore. It's less and less believable, because this whole foundation is now a foundation of stillness and presence and openness and love and wholeness. And so old beliefs get judged within that space and don't have that old compulsion. And so now there's a different space for this mind body, really, which is the space of continuing to inquire into what's true, of noticing any thought, any belief that would drag us out of this wholeness, out of this unconditional love, into defense and protection and separation. And there's just the doing of what makes sense to do with no thought of potential. I mean, it's a nonsense idea, really, isn't it? Like it is infinite. Who will know from that space what will come in, what opportunities will open up? We don't know, and it's irrelevant. All we know is that the next thing will be done, and then the next thing, and it will always be a mix of, it's never a question of the old conditioning going completely, but it's just this realignment to a space that is more and more truthful, that's more and more solid and real and dependable, more resolute inside. Because it's not fighting imaginary dragons. It's not in an imaginary world, it's in reality. It's just pure intelligence in reality. So the question of why aren't I fulfilling my artistic aspirations, say? Why aren't I writing? Why aren't I really going for it in my business? Why aren't I taking singing lessons? Why aren't I doing the teaching job that I've always wanted to do? Why am I doing this job and not that job? Who knows, really? Who knows? And we can sort of give up those questions because they come from a idea that this should be different, and it's not ever true, really, because it's just as it is. But all we can see is that as that hardware, as that infrastructure moves from identification, separation, me, to wholeness and presence and inquiry, things change, actions change. There's less to protect, so there's more immersion in the world. There's more. There's listening. There's the movement into the world is exploratory. It's not in order to put myself out there to be someone. It's just to play and experiment and find out. The motivation is totally different. So the motivation of the self is to secure the self. The motivation of the body, mind, and presence is love, isn't it? It's love and exploration of the form. And who knows? Who knows what will change? But for sure it will. We just don't know how. And the judging mind is irrelevant anyway. So so that's gone. So it's just, yeah. So we'll just see. We'll just see. But we just know our potential is this right now, and let's continue looking to see what's true. Big love. Bye.